Power BI interview questions and answers. This is part 2 of 3. Welcome to our Power BI interview questions and answers video. Whether you're a seasoned Power BI professional or just starting your journey in business intelligence, this video is designed to help you ace your Power BI interviews. What is the purpose of the advanced editor in Power BI and how is it different from the regular Power Query interface? The advanced editor in Power BI is part of the Power Query editor and allows users to view and edit the M language script directly. It provides more granular control over data transformation steps compared to the visual interface. Users can write custom M code for complex transformations not achievable through the regular interface. Explain the concept of the key influencers visualization in Power BI. How does it assist in data analysis? The key influencers visualization is used to identify factors that influence a particular metric. It analyzes data to find patterns and correlations, helping users understand which factors contribute the most to a specific outcome. It is particularly useful for predictive analysis and identifying key drivers in a dataset. How does Power BI handle real-time data streaming and what components are involved? Power BI supports real-time data streaming through the Power BI REST API and the Azure Stream Analytics service. Users can set up streaming datasets in Power BI, and data is pushed to these datasets in real time. Azure Stream Analytics can be used to process and analyze streaming data before it reaches Power BI. Explain the concept of Power BI data flows and how they contribute to the data preparation process. Power BI data flows allow users to define ETL, extract, transform, load, processes in the Power BI service. They provide a way to shape, clean, and transform data before it is loaded into the Power BI data model. Data flows can be reused across multiple reports and provide a centralized location for data preparation logic. What is the role of the Performance Analyzer in Power BI Desktop and how can it assist in optimizing report performance? The Performance Analyzer in Power BI Desktop is a tool that helps identify bottlenecks and performance issues in a report. It provides detailed information on the time taken by each visual, DAX calculation, and data query during report rendering. This information is crucial for optimizing report design and enhancing overall performance. Explain the concept of Power BI paginated reports. How do they differ from standard Power BI reports? Power BI paginated reports are traditional, pixel-perfect, and printable reports. They are designed for distributing and sharing operational or transactional reports. Unlike standard Power BI reports, paginated reports are generated using the SQL Server Reporting Services (SSRS) technology and offer a more structured format suitable for printing. How can you implement and use Power BI row-level security (RLS) in a practical scenario? Row-level security (RLS) is implemented in Power BI by defining roles and rules to restrict data access based on user roles. In a practical scenario, RLS can be used to ensure that sales representatives only see data related to their assigned region or department, providing a personalized and secure data view for each user. Explain the concept of Power BI apps and their role in distributing content within an organization. Power BI apps are collections of dashboards, reports, and datasets bundled together for distribution. They provide a streamlined way to share content within an organization by packaging all relevant components. Power BI apps can be shared with specific users or groups, ensuring consistent and standardized analytics content distribution. How can Power BI be used for advanced analytics and what are some features that support predictive modeling? Power BI supports advanced analytics through its integration with machine learning models and the use of DAX for complex calculations. The integration with Azure Machine Learning allows users to leverage predictive analytics directly within Power BI. Additionally, the key influencers visualization aids in identifying predictive patterns in the data. Explain the considerations for choosing between import mode and direct query mode in Power BI. Import mode. Suitable for smaller datasets, where data is loaded into the Power BI data model for faster performance. It is ideal when real-time data is not a critical requirement. Direct query mode. Suitable for larger datasets, where data stays in the source and Power BI queries it in real time. It is preferred when dealing with large volumes of data or when immediate data refresh is essential. Explain the concept of Power BI Data Analysis Expressions DAX Studio. How can it be used in conjunction with Power BI? DAX Studio is a third-party tool used for optimizing, analyzing, and querying Power BI. What is the role of the query folding feature in Power BI, and how does it impact query performance? Query folding is a feature that allows Power BI to push some data transformations back to the data source. This can significantly improve query performance by offloading processing to the source system. However, not all transformations support query folding, and understanding when it occurs is crucial for optimizing data refresh performance. Explain the concept of analytical expressions (XML) endpoints in Power BI. How can it be used for integration with other BI tools? XML endpoints in Power BI allow external tools to connect and interact with Power BI datasets. This enables integration with other BI tools and platforms that support the XML protocol. Users can perform operations like querying and processing datasets using tools like SQL Server Management Studio (SSMS). How can you implement and use dynamic row-level security in Power BI, and in what scenarios would it be beneficial? Dynamic row-level security involves using DAX expressions to define security rules that change dynamically based on user context. This allows for more flexible and dynamic access control. It is beneficial in scenarios where security rules need to be context-aware, such as restricting access to certain data based on time-sensitive conditions. Explain the considerations and steps for optimizing Power BI reports for mobile devices. Optimizing Power BI reports for mobile devices involves considerations such as designing for smaller screen sizes and touch interactions, using responsive visuals and layouts, limiting the number of visuals per report page, leveraging mobile-optimized features like buttons and drill-through. What are the best practices for managing and optimizing Power BI data models with a large number of tables and relationships? Best practices for managing large data models include using star schema or snowflake schema design, limiting the number of active relationships, utilizing role-playing dimensions for date tables, employing incremental data refresh for large datasets. Explain the use of custom connectors in Power BI. How can they be developed and utilized? Custom connectors in Power BI allow users to connect to data sources not natively supported. They can be developed using the Power Query M language and the Power Query SDK. Custom connectors are valuable when dealing with specialized data sources or when additional functionality is required beyond built-in connectors. How can Power BI be integrated with Microsoft Excel, and what benefits does this integration provide? Power BI can be integrated with Excel in several ways. Power Query integration for data transformation. Power Pivot for data modeling. Analyze in Excel for exploring Power BI datasets in Excel. Power BI Publisher for Excel for sharing Power BI reports within Excel. Explain the process of deploying and managing Power BI reports in an on-premises environment using Power BI Report Server. Power BI Report Server allows organizations to host and manage Power BI reports on their own servers. The deployment process involves publishing reports from Power BI Desktop to the Power BI Report Server. Administrators can then manage permissions, subscriptions, and updates within the on-premises environment. What are the key considerations and steps for setting up and managing Power BI Premium capacity in an enterprise environment? Setting up Power BI Premium involves considerations such as determining the required capacity based on user and data volume, allocating workspaces to dedicated capacity, configuring and monitoring resource usage, understanding the licensing implications for Power BI Premium. Explain the concept of composite models in Power BI. How does this feature enhance data modeling capabilities? Composite models in Power BI allow users to combine different storage modes, import and direct query, in a single report. This enhances flexibility in data modeling by enabling the use of both in-memory data and real-time querying for different tables within the same report. What is the role of query parameters in Power BI, and how can they be used in report development? Query parameters in Power BI enable users to create dynamic and reusable queries by allowing them to input values at runtime. This is useful for scenarios where you want to filter data dynamically or parameterize aspects of a report to make it more versatile. Explain the purpose of the Power BI Data Catalog and how it facilitates data discovery and collaboration. The Power BI Data Catalog is a centralized repository for storing and managing metadata about data sources, datasets, and reports. It facilitates data discovery by providing a searchable inventory of available data assets. Users can use the data catalog to find relevant datasets and collaborate with others on shared data resources. How can you implement and use conditional formatting in Power BI visuals? Provide examples of scenarios where this feature is beneficial. Conditional formatting in Power BI allows users to dynamically format visuals based on data values. Examples include color-coding cells in a table based on data ranges, changing the color of a bar chart based on thresholds, or applying data-driven formatting rules to highlight specific insights in a report. Explain the concept of data profiling in Power BI. How can it be used to assess and understand the characteristics of a dataset? Data profiling in Power BI involves analyzing and summarizing the characteristics of a dataset, such as data types, null values, and distribution. It provides insights into the quality and structure of the data, helping users understand potential issues and make informed decisions during the data preparation process. What is the purpose of Power BI goals and how can they be utilized for performance monitoring and tracking key metrics? Power BI goals are used for tracking and monitoring key performance indicators, KPIs, over time. They provide a visual representation of progress toward defined objectives, helping users assess performance against targets and make data-driven decisions to achieve business goals. Explain the concept of Power BI Smart Narrative Visual. How does it enhance the storytelling capabilities of reports? The Smart Narrative Visual in Power BI allows users to automatically generate natural language narratives based on data insights. It transforms data points into written descriptions, providing contextual explanations and interpretations. This feature enhances the storytelling aspect of reports, making them more accessible and understandable. How can you leverage the Power BI Incremental Refresh feature for optimizing data refresh in large datasets? Power BI Incremental Refresh is used to refresh only a subset of data in a dataset, rather than refreshing the entire dataset. This is beneficial for large datasets where only a portion of the data changes regularly. By defining incremental refresh policies, users can reduce refresh times and improve overall performance. Explain the process of setting up and using row-level security with organizational hierarchy in Power BI. Row-level security, RLS, with organizational hierarchy involves implementing security rules based on hierarchical relationships within an organization. This allows users to access data at different hierarchical levels based on their role or position in the organizational structure. It ensures that users only see data relevant to their position in the hierarchy. What are the considerations and best practices for designing effective Power BI dashboards that provide a compelling user experience? Designing effective Power BI dashboards involves considerations such as focusing on a clear and concise layout, prioritizing key metrics and insights, utilizing appropriate visuals for data representation, ensuring consistency in color schemes and branding, providing interactivity for users to explore data dynamically. Explain the concept of Power BI goals and how it can be utilized for performance monitoring and tracking key metrics. Power BI goals are used to track and visualize key performance indicators, KPIs, over time. They provide a centralized way to monitor progress towards defined objectives, offering a visual representation of performance against targets. Users can set up goals based on specific metrics and use them to make data-driven decisions and adjustments. What is Power BI Service Principal, and how does it enhance security and automation in Power BI? Power BI Service Principal is an Azure Active Directory (AAD) application that represents an instance of Power BI within an AAD tenant. It is used for automating tasks such as deploying Power BI artifacts, managing workspaces, and interacting with the Power BI service programmatically. Service principals enhance security by allowing controlled access to Power BI resources. Explain the concept of Power BI Data Gateway High Availability, HA, and when it is recommended in an enterprise setup. Power BI Data Gateway High Availability is a configuration that involves deploying multiple instances of the gateway to ensure redundancy and continuous service availability. It is recommended in enterprise setups where uninterrupted access to on-premises data sources is critical. HA configuration minimizes downtime in case one gateway instance becomes unavailable. How can you use Power Automate, formerly Flow, in conjunction with Power BI to automate workflows and enhance integration? Power Automate allows users to create automated workflows between Power BI and other applications. Examples include automating report distribution, triggering workflows based on Power BI alerts, or updating external systems when data changes in Power BI. Power Automate enhances integration and streamlines business processes. Explain the purpose of the anomaly detection feature in Power BI. How does it contribute to identifying unusual patterns or outliers in data? Anomaly detection in Power BI helps identify unusual patterns or outliers in time series data. It uses machine learning algorithms to analyze historical data and detect deviations from expected patterns. This feature is valuable for monitoring data trends and identifying potential issues or opportunities in the data. What are Power BI aggregations and how can they be used to improve query performance for large datasets? Power BI aggregations are pre-computed summaries of data that allow for faster query performance, especially with large datasets. By defining aggregations at different granularities, users can optimize query performance and reduce the need to query the underlying detailed data. Aggregations are particularly useful in scenarios where summarized data is sufficient for analysis. Explain the concept of Power BI shared datasets and how they contribute to reusability and consistency in reporting. Power BI shared datasets allow multiple reports to share the same dataset. This promotes reusability, consistency, and centralized management of data models. Changes made to the shared dataset are reflected in all reports that use it, ensuring consistency in calculations and reducing maintenance efforts. How can you leverage Power BI data flows for data preparation and transformation? What advantages do they offer over traditional ETL processes? Power BI data flows enable users to define ETL processes directly in the Power BI service. They offer advantages over traditional ETL processes by providing a cloud-based and self-service approach to data preparation. Data flows support data transformations, cleansing, and shaping, making it easier for users to collaborate and share standardized data preparation logic. Explain the concept of Power BI goals and how it can be utilized for performance monitoring and tracking key metrics. Power BI goals are used to track and visualize key performance indicators, KPIs, over time. They provide a centralized way to monitor progress towards defined objectives, offering a visual representation of performance against targets. Users can set up goals based on specific metrics and use them to make data-driven decisions and adjustments. What is Power BI Service Principal, and how does it enhance security and automation in Power BI? Power BI Service Principal is an Azure Active Directory, AAD, application that represents an instance of Power BI within an AAD tenant. It is used for automating tasks such as deploying Power BI artifacts, managing workspaces, and interacting with the Power BI service programmatically. Service principals enhance security by allowing controlled access to Power BI resources. Explain the use of Power BI template apps. How can they be created and shared across different environments or organizations? Power BI template apps are prepackaged solutions containing dashboards, reports, and data models. They can be created using Power BI Desktop and shared across different environments or organizations. Template apps provide a way to distribute standardized analytics content, ensuring consistency and ease of deployment. What is the role of Power BI paginated reports in the context of pixel-perfect reporting, and how do they differ from interactive reports? Power BI paginated reports are designed for pixel-perfect reporting, providing highly formatted and printable reports. They differ from interactive reports by offering a more rigid and structured layout suitable for operational or transactional reporting. Paginated reports are generated using the SQL Server Reporting Services (SSRS) technology. Exciting updates await. Stay tuned for part 3 of our Power BI interview questions and answers video, where we'll delve deeper into advanced topics, share expert insights, and equip you with the knowledge you need to shine in your Power BI interviews. Don't miss out.
Hey learners, don't just watch, hit that subscribe button, and let's dive into a sea of knowledge together.